everyone, I'm Jacob. I play Tithla. She's a ranger. Tithla's in Barovia because she's tagged along with some friends and somebody needs to look after them.
Hi, I'm Haz, and I'm playing the character of Theodore, Satyr, Circle of the Moon Druid, whose main motivation is to find a good revel and turn into a giant angry fey bear to protect his friends, particularly his best bud Tithla.
Hello, I'm Josh, and I shall be playing Killian Maxwell, a elf celestial warlock who has been travelling around Barovia for a little while and has joined up with the Tempest Guild to try and find his place.
G'day, my name's Tom. I'm playing Jonor, the Aasimar divination wizard. He is here to find the best and the worst of this world, and he's doing it with a bit of naivety and optimism.
Hello, I am Raph, and I'm playing Styx, who is a Gloomforged Paladin, on the journey of rediscovering themselves, quite literally, in the land of Barovia.
And I'm Owen, the Dungeon Master of our Curse of Strahd 5th edition campaign. A warning, gentle viewer. Curse of Strahd is a horror-themed Dungeons & Dragons campaign, which means you may hear adult language or adult themes throughout this episode. Hello! Goodness me. Welcome back, everybody, to the Lost Archives. It is wonderful to see all of your gorgeous faces once again. We are here ready to play Curse of Strahd, the premier D&D horror campaign. Yes, exactly like Jacob's doing there, using his fingers as canine teeth. If you weren't aware, Curse of Strahd follows a number of the classic horror tropes and horror themes. Vampires, werewolves, the undead, all of it in the one module. We have been doing a homebrew version of Curse of Strahd. We've been playing around with some of the rules, playing around with some of the events. I like to let the players lead a story, not me. So we've been letting the players determine the direction and path of the campaign and quest so far. And they've been all
Owen, it feels like it's been one big squiggly line. I don't understand.
It's bizarre, isn't it? How does that happen? Yeah, I don't understand how such a thing occurs. So we are ready to jump back in. Now, we do have two apologies for tonight. Josh is unable to make it, unable to join us tonight. I believe he had like a work thing they sprung on him last minute. So poor Josh, he can't join us, unfortunately. And I still have Haz up on the overlay. I was going to switch it over to the guest overlay tonight, but our guest is also unable to make it because of a combination of work springing a surprise on him and Sydney traffic. So Andrew, who's going to come join us tonight as Raspip, is unable to make it as well, unfortunately. So it's just going to be the four of us tonight. Tom, Raph, Jacob, and I. We are going to have an absolute blast. I better get Killian's character sheet open. He is technically with you, so I will make sure I have his sheet open and ready to go. In terms of fun announcements behind the scenes, thank you everybody who's been watching the first episode of the Subnautica playthrough. Holy shit! I would have done a Subnautica playthrough a long time ago if I'd known you were so excited for this. Excellent! I am very pleased you're enjoying it. New episodes will be coming out every couple of days, basically in between our D&D and Avatar Legends episodes. So for those of you who watch on YouTube, it'll be coming out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That's just the days that are in between our D&D days, so that's when it'll be coming out. Once I finish that, I'll switch on to Below Zero. We'll do the whole playthrough, because obviously Subnautica 2 is coming out really soon, and I'm so fucking excited. I'm so excited for Subnautica 2. Not just because it's multiplayer, I'm also very excited for the fact it's multiplayer, but also it's on a completely new world. There's a whole bunch of new stuff that's been coming out about it. I am very, very hyped. The other fun thing I have to share for all of you lovely people on YouTube, there's going to be a lot more content coming out for you guys in the next year. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of basically like breakdowns of the new characters, the new classes, subclasses that are in the new player's handbook. I'm also going to be doing something that I like to call like a random character, where basically what I'll do is I'll have tables for the species, for the classes, and for various aspects. And what I'm going to do is roll those, and we'll create a character together as part of like a video, and I'll draw the character at the very end as well. So it'll be like this whole playthrough as we basically create a character from scratch. So hopefully, if you're new to D&D, give you guys some inspiration for getting your first character together. And there'll be artwork there as well that you're welcome to use. I'll be having it in the video, but also up on ArtStation that you can just use in your character sheet whenever you want. But also I thought it'd be really fun to kind of like maybe come up with some new fun ideas for those who are really used to playing D&D and are looking for a fun new character with some of the new rule sets. So those videos will be coming out really soon as well. That'll be in the next year, I should say. I shouldn't say very soon. I have a very different definition of very soon. Those will be coming out in the new year. But that's going to be very, very exciting as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And Raph, this is a specific one for you. The drunk science has been very heavily requested as a special episode. Would you like to join me for some drunk science?
Yeah,
it will be an in-person. It'll be an in-person drunk science. I'm thinking you come over. We set up the camera, get the microphone ready to go. We sit down and we discuss intellectual theories upon many of the preeminent topics currently out and about in the world of physics, chemistry, biology, and we do it through the lens of ethanol. How do you feel about that?
I will bring the martinis.
Fantastic. Let's go. And we will discuss on a chemical level why shaken is better than stirred. We're going to go through that in detail. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I think that's all the fun announcements I have to share. Tom, Raph has anything? Tom, Raph, Jacob, anything fun? Do you know what the problem is?
Yeah, I'm done.
The art of Theo, the amazing fan art of Theo currently transforming to Beorling popped up right as I looked over to the left, and that is why I got stuck on that.
And you didn't want to replace anyone else's name with Has. It had to be mine.
Has. Any fun announcements for tonight?
See, that's true equality.
Fantastic. I like equity and equality as well. It's even better. Any fun announcements from anyone else tonight before we jump into things, or are we all good to go?
No, super keen to
rip into it.
Fantastic. Oh, and Raph, I've got you back on Styx tonight, if that's okay. I figured now that Grinner's headed back to the castle, I'd update the overlay.
Grinner.
What?
We did have one instruction from Josh.
No, that wasn't an instruction. That was a hope. You get out of it.
I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the idea to stop Styx and Grinner meeting because you didn't want Strahd to know about Styx?
Look,
That's correct.
Okay, it's more fun to make Raph try and have to talk to himself, okay? It's worth the risk.
Don't you do it to me enough that you've had that itch scratched by now?
Nah, this is someone new. This is a new toy.
Those are some wild accent swings that I would have to make too.
It's fucking... I know. Yes. Yes, it is. All right, let's jump in. Let me do the recap and let us jump into the session without any further ado. Our series has been following the adventures of the Tempest Adventuring Guild, Theo, Jonor, Tithla, Styx, and Killian. Having become trapped within the realm of Barovia while searching for some missing adventurers, the team are now preparing to take the fight to Strahd and Sergei. After entering the ruined fortress of Argynvostholt on the hunt for allies and arms to help in the upcoming conflict, the team have learned that the once proud and resplendent Knights of the Silver Dragon have been reduced to undead revenants. With the only hope of breaking the curse locked away inside Castle Ravenloft as a trophy, the party have finally accepted Strahd's invitation to dinner. Passing by the embattled village of Barovia, signs of fortifications and an archer's nest being constructed, the group entered the grounds of Castle Ravenloft. After quickly changing into more appropriate attire, the team entered the dining room, and awaiting them was the master of Ravenloft, Strahd von Zarovich himself. After a little bit of tension over Grinner's transformation into a vampire spawn, the group were invited to sit and enjoy some food and drink with Strahd and his new bride, Katerina. While dinner started off a little cold and awkward, the serving of delicious and personalised meals warmed up the conversation, both sides using the opportunity to gain information from the other. Strahd, though, soon turned to business, outlining the current situation with his brother Sergei and proposing an alliance to break the balance of power and destroy him. Before the team could get into the details further, though, Strahd's butler Rahadin entered with urgent news which demanded Strahd attend to some time-sensitive issue. Taking advantage of their host's sudden absence, Tithla, Theo and Killian bailed on dinner to search the castle for Argynvost's skull, making their way stealthily upstairs. After encountering an old tax collector and a swarm of rats, the trio stumbled across the skull hanging from the roof of a large bedchamber. Meanwhile, Jonor accompanied Katerina into the vaults of Castle Ravenloft to recover a crystal ball hidden away amongst Strahd's trophies. Upon touching the orb, Jonor noticed the wisps of protection magic too late, his powerful divination abilities giving him a glimpse of Strahd standing upon the battlements, smiling, as the wisps of magic Jonor had seen around the orb earlier returned to their caster. Concerned as to what this could mean for him and his friends, Jonor agreed to allow Grinner to accompany him in search of the rest of the party. Back upstairs, with the skull now safely tucked away inside the bag of holding, the team reunited and headed downstairs to intending to sneak back into dinner before their absence had been noted. Awaiting them was Strahd, fully aware the group had been helping themselves to items taken from vanquished adventurers, graciously allowing them to borrow his trophies as long as they used them to defeat his brother Sergei. Strahd has sent the party north in search of the werewolves living there. Making their way back to the castle of Argynvostholt, Theo decided to briefly split from the team to check in on the village of Barovia, given the repeated attacks from the undead and the presence of a friend of the party. He headed off to go and spend some time there. We left off last session as Jonor, Tithla, and Killian arrived back at Argynvostholt, ready to return the skull to its resting place. And where we actually left things off was as all of you begin making your way through the front courtyard of the ruined castle, looking up at the crumbling tower, the statues of dragons, looking very much decayed and damaged hanging over you. You watched as the front doors of the castle slowly began to open, revealing this strange mechanical whirring coming from inside. As the sounds of metal scraping against stone emerge from inside, a single glowing purple eye illuminates the grounds before you, and a Styx steps out and goes, "Hello there." That is where we left off last session. Styx. We're actually going to be jumping back in time with you.
Okay.
As the rest of the party boarded the carriage with Grinner, made their way towards Castle Ravenloft, you had decided that you would head down into the lower sections of the castle looking for the blacksmith who resides there, with your fragment of the Sun's Sword in your possession but unusable at this point. You thought this is the perfect time to kind of investigate. As you begin making your way downstairs, following along the Revenant, the castle is slowly starting to not come back to life. That is definitely not the right word. The castle, there is more activity in the castle than when you first arrived. It seems like the presence of all of you here, the movement throughout the castle, has begun to wake up a number of the Revenants. And as you begin to pass down the lower floors, you can hear the sounds of banging against that pantry door where you sealed away those 3 attacking Revenants. You can hear the sounds of banging coming from that area, as well as the presence of mist beginning to gather across the floor of the stonework. Just light and thin, but pushing in through the windows and around the outsides of the castle as the mist begins to gather inside and outside the walls of this once beautiful castle. I believe you were heading with, I'm trying to remember his name, sorry, I've had a complete breakdown on the lovely name, not Vladimir, Sir Godfrey. You were following Sir Godfrey as he was leading you downstairs. And yeah, as you begin to head down the staircase, down towards the lower floors, Sir Godfrey turns to you. "I hope your friends will be safe. We better see what we can find. Hopefully the blacksmith is in some state of mind to help you. Seren is not someone I've spent a lot of time with, and I'll be honest, I've avoided much of the crypt and dungeon since our transformation into these forms."
But he is capable.
He was when he was alive. I hope he retains much of his knowledge and skill. Yeah, we shall have to see.
All right.
Come with me, quickly. Seems our presence here is starting to attract, or your presence here, starting to attract some unwanted attention. And with that, Godfrey begins to walk away. As he does so, though, the front doors of the entrance hall suddenly burst open with a loud bang. And you see a figure standing there, hands basically leaning on the doorway, hands sort of pushing up against the door frame as they lean against it, looking around as they slowly turn, looking inside the castle, see you and see Sir Godfrey. Styx, you look quite skeletal. This isn't personal, but as you stand there next to a Revenant, you watch as this figure, eyes wide, stares at you, holds up a hand, and you begin to see light gathering around their fingers, dancing across their hand. The figure that you see before you, as you gaze through the gloom, the light backlighting them, looks like an elf of some sorts, possibly a dark elf, but less of the very dark purple skin, possibly even a half dark elf as you look at him. You can see that he is reasonably tall, wearing a suit with these bright emerald green accents, and he currently has a cane draped over one arm with a very big emerald embedded in the handle of the cane as well. His hair is this white, almost like an ashen white, parted down the middle, and you can see his glasses perched upon his nose are askew, these very round glasses. And as he looks at you, you watch as he holds up the hand, lights up his fingers, and goes, "I fear you not, undead creature. Stand down. Back away slowly." As you say, all right. You say, all right. You watch as he pauses for a second and goes, "I'm sorry?"
Which is kind of back away to the side slightly, doing what he asks.
You watch as Godfrey doesn't...
Hello.
Godfrey doesn't turn, and he just sort of watches as you turn back and looks back and goes, "Who are you? What is this? I was expecting this place to be full of the undead. You certainly look the part."
Can we help you?
"Perhaps. I was planning on seeking refuge here for the night. You don't seem aggressive, unlike the other undead I've encountered in this place. Do you have names?"
I turn to Godfrey. Can we keep him?
I don't think we can keep a person. Sir Godfrey Gwilym." Godfrey bows. "At your service, Paladin of the Order of the Silver Dragon. And this is, an ally of the knights here," as he gestures to you, Styx.
Hello. I am Styx.
"Styx, Sir Godfrey. I am Servank Lecon. You may call me Servank. I am not used to seeing creatures of your type before, Styx. You resemble some sort of warforged, yet your design is positively macabre.
Okay.
Do you have a maker? Do you originate from these lands, or were you a traveler like myself?"
I am from here.
"Indeed. Well, may I enter this place, if this is a sanctuary for the Knights of the Silver Dragon? From what I understand of Silver Dragons, your order is most likely in line with my own goals and needs, shall we say. May I seek shelter in your halls?"
I look at Godfrey, being a guest myself.
Godfrey sort of looks back at you, really confused, looks back and says, "You may, but I must warn you, not all of the undead who roam these halls are as affable as myself, and possibly best if you don't go wandering too far. Maybe stick with Styx and I, if that is amenable to you." Godfrey seems really not quite sure how to handle this person just bursting in. You watch as Servank whips his cane around, places it down on the floor. It stands upright as he lets go. He turns, clicks his fingers, and you watch as the doors close behind him, as he then picks up the cane and strides over towards you. You can see Styx. He is dressed in a very fine suit, but it does look like he's been through the ringer a little bit. You can see sections where dried blood has not yet been cleaned from the silken waistcoat. You can see that there is a traveling cloak over one shoulder, a half cloak over one shoulder that's actually been partly torn away from the bracket, from the clip that holds it to his blouse. Blouse? That's not the right word I'm looking for. Holds it to his jacket suit. And his shoes, very, very well made. You can see the beautiful brocaded leather along the sides as he cliply walks along next to you, places his cane down and holds out a hand to shake your hand.
I look at it and just kind of touch it, like pat the top of his hand.
You watch as he does a little half click under his fingers, adjusts his glasses, pushes them up his nose and goes, "Well, I suppose that'll do as an introduction."
Does this guy ring any bells from anyone that the party has been talking about, looking for, has met prior to me? Is there any sign of, I don't know, anything emblazoned on his jacket that would be an emblem of some kind? Anything going on?
Could you make me an investigation or a perception check? For those of you who are not yet aware, this is a summoned NPC from Obscenities. I've had this ready to go in my back pocket for at least a month and a half, possibly even longer. We've been ready to have this NPC come. It just wasn't quite the right timing to bring him in. Now it is. So we now get to see something.
rolled a 15, but it hasn't come across.
That's okay. You might have to jump into the features and traits and then back in again.
Yeah.
Sometimes roll 20
That's
needs you to do that. I don't know why. What was your roll again? Sorry.
It's a 15.
Oh my god, 15's awesome. Oh my god, in August, it's almost 3 months ago. Yikes! I didn't realize it was that bad. That's really bad. Hey, we move at a pace shared with animals from the invertebrate portion of the gene pool. That's just how we roll, or slide very slowly. As you examine the figure closely, Styx, none of the descriptions, none of the aspects of his physique, his dress, any of the markings he wears, you can see that he does have. Now that you're looking a little bit closer, you can sort of see a bit more detail about him. His arm, one of his arms is actually wrapped up in bandages. You can see that it is wrapped up in these bandages, covered in arcane symbols and what look almost like rows and rows of lines of arcane sigils. And as you look at it, you get the weirdest feeling that you've seen something similar to this before with Jonor. It's his right arm, from almost the elbow down, is just completely wrapped up in these full bandages. Apart from that, no other real signs or any aspects that leap out and remind you of any descriptions from the party. I'd say the only one that's even slightly similar, he does seem to have a series of patterns embroidered into the green that look almost like a series of swirling lines and curves, which is not too dissimilar from the hem of Killian's cloak. Maybe there's a connection there, but you don't know. Hard to say.
The fabrics that you have put on your body are pretty. They are very pretty for this place.
Why?
Are you from here?
Why, thank you, Styx. No, I am not from these lands, and I thank you for noticing the attire that I dress myself in. My garb is from a rather bespoke tailors from my homeland. No, I am not from here. This is not an area in which I would willingly come, if I had any say or choice in the matter. But I have found myself trapped here, and wouldn't mind a way out if you have happened to stumble upon one.
All right.
You have?
No.
Oh. Well, bother. That's a pickle. If you do happen to hear of any rumors or any potential way out of this place, I would not be opposed to hearing it. It's a rather ghastly ambiance to this place.
Do you have a soul?
A soul? I think so. Last I checked, I did. I believe so.
Have you tried dying your way out?
Have I tried dying my way out? No, I have not yet succumbed to the clutches of death, that mistress of the dark and cold. No, I have avoided her tender embrace with every fibre of my being, and I intend to do so for many years to come.
Well, okay, if that isn't an option.
I don't believe such a thing would allow me freedom from this land. My understanding from my studies of the mists, this place, made up of the captured souls of the dead, I think even death is not an escape from this wretched place.
You have been here for some time?
A couple of days, maybe 4?
All right.
What about you? Are you a traveller as well? Have you come through the mists? Or do you originate from this place? You have the look of if you don't mind me saying, the look of a native of these lands.
I was created here on this plane in my current form.
Oh, jolly good. He sort of nods. You can tell he does not know what to say to that, Styx. He's really not quite sure what to make of you. Jolly good then.
Okay, well, we're going downstairs to the blacksmith's. You can come, but stay away from the pantry.
The pantry? It's at that moment. boom, boom, boom against the door next to him. You watch as he like visibly jumps and turns around, holding his wrapped up bandage hand aloft, and you watch as some of the sigils begin to glow across the bandages before they fade as he like startled looks and goes, "Oh, phew. Sorry, startled me somewhat there. Yes, I think it would be best if I accompany you downstairs. Does this place have a library of some sort once we've attended to your needs of the metallurgical types? We could perhaps maybe make our way to a sitting room, maybe have a stiff brandy.
Okay.
Oh, wonderful." You watch as Godfrey turns looks back and goes, "I'm not sure we will have much in the way of amenities that have not spoiled. The dead have no need for brandy." As he looks over at Savank, who sort of like just shrugs and goes, "Well, carry on. I'll follow along and maybe make some repairs. Thank you for noticing this very fine, bespoke suit. Has taken a few hits. If you don't mind, I'll come with you, and maybe if there's a spot in the corner, I can just sit and repair it. If that sounds okay."
All right.
Wonderful. Please, lead on. Indeed. You watch as Godfrey leans in and whispers to you, "This man has makings of a mage or some sort of wizard. That hand sense something odd about it. Keep an eye." And then he looks up, sees your single eye, pauses and goes, "If you could please keep a watch on him, Styx, while we're getting things done downstairs. That would be much appreciated."
Do you want me to take his bandages off?
I don't think we need to assault him to remove his bandages just yet, but let's keep an eye on him. Keep a watch on him.
Styx didn't say that quietly either. He doesn't have a whisper. It was just like normal volume.
Savank is the very soul of gentlemanly accord at this point. He pretends or does not hear you. You're not sure which.
Styx wouldn't even register. He probably isn't even aware that he's supposed to be whispering, frankly.
Fair enough. Yeah. In that case, then you've got nothing to worry about. You've stated the question, can I remove his bandages? The answer was no. No problems. Nothing to worry about here. Nothing wrong, looking good.
I will look at him at all times.
Styx's head just kind of swivels around to a weird angle.
It's like an owl's head. You watch as the head, there's this clicking noise, and then suddenly the head spins around all at once as like a spring is loaded up and then activates, turning the head suddenly. You watch as Savank takes a step backwards, his eyes wide, as he goes, "Ha! That is truly horrifying. Who gave you this capability, and for what purpose?"
A toy maker's grandfather.
Toy maker? Oh, Blinsky. Yeah?
Blinsky.
It's all coming together now. Yes, well, that makes perfect sense. If anything, actually, given the origins of your manufacture, I find you somewhat graceful in form and function. Could have done a lot worse. I had the mistake of wandering into that little toy shop of horrors my first night here, and some of those images will haunt me. Who gives a child a guillotine with dolls with removable heads? Ugh.
All right.
Styx just kind of starts walking off, but still looking
facing.
at him.
I'll follow. As you begin following Sir Godfrey downstairs, you move through a set of double doors next to the chapel, a spiral staircase heading down into the gloom below. And as you reach down this lower floor, Styx, the hallway beyond is lined with vertical sarcophagi, bound and carved out of the stonework. And as you walk along, you can see the lids depict a number of knights who have fallen in battle, forever immortalized in stone relief across the surface. As you get to the end of this corridor, passing by another 9-10 of these sarcophagi, you hear the sound of rumbling stone, and as you turn towards your left, you watch as a hand slowly makes its way out from behind the lid, grabs onto the lid, and then begins slowly pushing it aside. At this point, Sir Godfrey doesn't seem to have noticed. You watch as he begins sort of striding forwards, having maybe not heard or not seen.
Probably going to tap him on the shoulder and then just casually wander over and try and push the lid back into place.
Could you please make me an athletics check as you tap to Godfrey? Watches Godfrey turns and goes, "What is it? Oh." And then as you step back and place your hands upon the sarcophagi, and then...
Oh, no. This thing's still not working. It was a 17.
That's okay. What you can do, if you jump into... Have you got Roll20 and D&D Beyond both open on the same...
It'll be the fact that I haven't logged into Roll20 yet.
That'll do it.
Am I being?
So what was your athletics check, sorry?
This is 17.
17 is nice. 17.
Allegedly.
I just want to point out we have just reached the half-hour point for recording, and you still don't have Roll20 open. That's impressive.
I was engrossed in the storytelling.
You called it out before
Thank
that.
you.
Said
Yeah,
you should do it right now.
and then I got the page open and then forgot to log in.
I love it. As you slowly turn, grab the sarcophagi, and just nope the lid back on, you hear a voice from inside. "Let us out! Let us be..." And then the lid closes. You slam the lid shut, and the voice is cut off completely. You watch as Godfrey sort of turns ready to draw his sword, sees you just close the lid, and goes, well, I guess that's an option as well.
Do we not want them out?
No. Yes, no. Perfect. Styx, absolutely spot on. Thank you. Very nice.
All right. Do I have to just stand here now forever?
No. If we back away and move away, it should lose interest.
Okay.
Styx just goes back to keeping his eye on I've forgotten his name.
Sevunk.
What's Fancy boy.
I'll type it
Sevunk.
into chat so you've got a copy as well. There you go.
Yeah, I'd just go back to locked onto him as I'm walking off.
Thank you, Styx, for closing the sarcophagi and preventing. Could you? No? Right.
Okay.
Oh dear. He just watches your single eye unblinking stare at him. He tries to hold the stare for a moment, and then you see his eyes begin to water as he blinks and looks away. As you begin to move forwards, the room beyond this hall of sarcophagi clearly was once some sort of underground meeting chamber, but has been converted into a blacksmith's long ago. You can see part of the roof has actually been converted into a massive chimney designed to capture the smoke and filter it up to the ground floor and maybe even out through the existing fireplace. At this point, as you look around, you think you might be underneath the chapel. The curvature of the stairs downwards, the pathway back, this looks a lot like the area under the chapel. At the far end of the room, you can see an enormous forge has grown dark and cold. The soot that covers the surface of it indicates this was once a powerful, mighty source of heat, but has not been used in a very, very long time. Draped half over an anvil and half across the floor, you can see the desiccated corpse of a man. Looking...
Hello.
There's no response as you call out hello.
Godfrey, I don't think he's here with us.
I think he probably is. All of us are bound here, Styx. He will be here. Maybe we should maybe tap him on the shoulder. Let him know we're here.
Styx goes over and crouches down next to the guy and pokes him gently.
As you gently poke the body, you hear this awful cracking noise, and you watch as the head turns around. Oh, my neck actually cracked when I did that. Very nice. As the head turns around, all of a sudden, these empty eye sockets staring at you as this blue flame burns to life in them, and you hear as this horrible screeching hiss comes from the open maw.
Hello.
You watch as a clawed hand reaches up, grabs at your face, slowly just traces the contours of your bones, moving over your teeth and then down your chin across your chest. You watch as the figure pauses for a moment, hand placed atop your chest, and you hear, "Sunlight."
a long time ago.
Warmth. Heat. As the figure slowly begins to pull itself upright, grabbing onto the horrendous broken anvil covered in its own guts that have fallen out from its chest being cut open and spilled. And as it slowly stands, you watch as the entrails, these like dusty mummified entrails, finish falling out, clattering against the floor, leaving an open hollow chest as this undead revenant stands and looks over towards the forge and points. Heat. Fire.
I mean, I guess.
Styx just kind of like points his arm at it and goes and ignites the sword at the furnace to see if it does anything.
Yeah, as you bathe the furnace in this radiant light, you watch as the upper layer of ash and soot is burned away in this radiant brilliance, revealing the beautiful, intricate details carved into this forge. Styx, this is a work of art. Someone, a master craftsman, worked on this for a very long time. It is beautiful. And as the light shines across it, no flame reignites in the forge's bellows, in the forge's heart. But next to you, you watch as Savank steps up and goes, "If you're looking for some flame, I think I can oblige."
Okay.
Stand back. I don't do any magic half-assed, as they say. You watch as Savank holds out a hand, gathers in. You watch as the bandages begin to ignite with these red runes as fire gathers around his hand. And as it shoots out and strikes the center of the forge, you watch as a flame burns to life in the very center of the coals. As the forge slowly begins to heat, the revenant, the blacksmith, turns back towards you. Forge reheat takes time.
Okay.
Styx pulls out the little lump.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because he was about to ask what forge. So yeah, as you pull out the lump, you watch as the revenant holds out a hand trying to grasp at it. The thumb breaks backwards, leaving just the fingers as he wraps his fingers around it and catches it and then looks down with these glowing blue flame eye sockets. Enchanted steel. Need rest.
Take your rest and then
Need
make me
rest.
whole.
As he points at you. Need rest.
Will it work?
We'll try.
All right.
Styx goes and lies down in the fire.
As you go to lie down, Godfrey grabs you and goes, I don't think you should just lie down in the flames. Styx, that can't be what he's asking. The sword, can you summon?
Translate?
I can try, but he's speaking the same language. It's just that I think what's left, this is all that's left of him. Maybe you could try giving him the sword?
I am the sword.
But you just had it in your hands a moment ago. Could you give him that?
I don't know.
Can I take my sword?
No chance. No chance.
As
You gotta lie down in the fire.
As you hold out your hand, you watch as the blade summons into your hands once again. The hilts that you've got clicking out from underneath you, from inside your wrist, forming into the blade. And as you feel the connection with it, Styx, if you put it down and will it to stay there, it will stay there.
And by that, he means you have to hold it on your chest as you lie in the fire.
I didn't say that.
If I let this go, I will be even less whole.
You watch as the blacksmith nods. Yes, but you can be more.
All right.
Styx drops that part and
Into his
pops it on
hands.
top of the anvil.
As soon as the sword leaves your grip, Styx, you feel your strength and vitality draining away for a moment. This awful sense of cold emanating from your core that lasts intensely for a few seconds and then begins to die down to this dull ache as you feel the loss of your sword, the loss of your soul. But as the blacksmith places his hands upon the sword, Styx, can you make me a history check? Let's see if you actually recognize this man, because it might be that you do.
I hear lying down in fire helps history check.
That's a 20. That's an unnatural 20. Styx, as soon as his hand grasps the sword, you have this flash of vision. The man standing before you is no longer a desiccated corpse. The sword, no longer the dull spirit-like essence that you can summon. It is the sword, brilliant and blazing. It is you, and the man holding it is strong and whole once again. You see him turn and examine the blade, casting his gaze across it as you remember. These hands have held you before. These eyes have gazed across you, have admired you once before. And as you feel the gentle touch, you know this man. You don't know his name, but you know him, his soul, his essence, what you connect with when you form that bond. You were brought here. Sometime during Tatiana's wielding of you, something happened and you were brought here, and this man fixed you. Long ago. And as you watch, as the vision fades and you see the desiccated corpse once again, as the eyes turn towards you, you watch as the corpse follows the exact same motions you just saw in the vision. Hand tracing the pommel down the blade. As he admires the sword, the blue glowing flames of his eyes, drinking in every detail.
It is good to hold you once again, Sunsword.
I trust your skill, blacksmith.
You watch as the smith nods and heads over to the forge, placing the blade delicately into the fire. The metal, the misshapen lump of the crossguard that you were given by Vladimir, he places it a little bit above the blade, and you watch as he turns towards the bellows and begins pumping them harder and faster, flames roaring to life inside the forge. It's at this moment, Styx, you hear the sound of clattering from up above, the sound of a carriage and hoofbeats moving back into the area above.
How long will this process take?
You watch as the undead blacksmith, the remnant of this once proud, strong man, turns towards you and shrugs.
It takes as long as it takes.
All right. I believe my friends have returned. I will leave you to your work, and I will come to check on myself soon.
As you turn around, Styx, you can see Godfrey and Savank are not there anymore. You're just alone in the room with the blacksmith.
Oh, all right.
Styx doesn't really know what to make of that. Is he still in the right timeline, or is he kind of all janked up?
Styx, when you had that vision, you're not sure how much time passed. When you let go of the sword, and you felt that cold deep within your soul, you think you might have lost some time. You're not sure how much. But Godfrey and Savank are not here anymore.
Is there like a note?
No. No note. No notes! There is no note.
You should try lying down in the fire, see if that helps.
Jacob.
I might just lie down in the fire and see what happens.
Styx, as you climb over the edge of the forge and lie down upon the hot coals. Jacob, I think you want this most of all. Could you roll 3d6 for us, please?
Haha, suck it.
There's just something compelling me to do it. I don't know.
That's a 5 and 2 6s, bitch.
You watch as nothing happens to Styx, but in the cart, Jonor, as you disembark the carriage with Tithla, Jonor, and Killian, you watch as Tithla suddenly bursts into flame,
17
taking 17 points of fire damage as she
That's
immediately
too soon.
and spontaneously combusts. Styx is a voodoo doll for Tithla. I don't know if I mentioned this, but like,
Tithla is now dead, fully dead.
you
Are
watch
you
as,
happy, Owen?
no, none of that happens.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Styx, as you lean into the flames, looking into the fire, you don't need to get in the fire. You're already in the fire.
I am.
Yeah. You can see the sword bathed in the gentle flames as the forge begins to glow hotter and hotter, the coals burning. The clay, it looks like clay, but it can't be. It must be much, much harder. The clay plate with the curved edges that rise up, creating this kind of like buffer that the sword is currently sitting in to heat it up. Yeah, I mean, you're already in the flames, Styx.
Styx emotions, for the most part, are fairly muted at the best of times, but there's a certain level of almost ecstatic joy watching this happen and the anticipation of it. And he doesn't really know what to do with that, and he's a little confused by the loss of time. So he's probably just going to wander back upstairs for the minute and process.
Yeah, as you head upstairs, you can hear the sound of the carriage moving away, and as you move to the front doors and open them, we've caught up to the current timeline and we're good to go. Flawless. As you gaze upon your friends and comrades standing there, Theo's not there.
Hello. How are you all?
Oh, Styx.
Yeah, hi.
So, this'll go on.
No, I was just gonna also say hi, Styx. Hi, Styx.
Hello, Tithla. Hello, Jonor. Where is the goat man?
You don't want to say hi to Killian?
Hello, Killian.
Hello.
Really rude.
Hello, Styx.
I couldn't see him on the other side of Jonor.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a great observation.
I was just checking his back, making sure there were no more swords in it.
You got a real Obi-Wan, like you and McGregor Obi-Wan vibe going on. It's great.
Do I? Great, I'll keep it.
Yeah.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there. You don't want to sell me death
Yeah.
sticks. But you do. Give me the death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
I want them. Give them all to me. I want the death sticks.
I don't have any death sticks.
Fuck. Yeah, carry
on. Yeah, Theo. So long story short,
He left us again. Not like he
Well,
left again, like somebody
he
else left
kind of-
us again.
Technically, he did leave the party, but it wasn't unannounced. It was shared, and he's looking after the town of Blackie.
Yeah,
Just
he's
down the
found someone
road.
else that's more important than me.
All right.
That's not true. Who's the one person that Tithla, you're important to all of us. You know Theo, he cares for you lot.
Yeah, okay. What are you up to, Styx?
I am greeting you.
Ah. Well, I'm complaining.
All
Feel
right.
very welcomed. Look, we got out of there alive, so that's a good start.
Should we?
I think
Is
we
the
can
car
take
gone?
this.
Goodbye.
Yeah, Grinner in the carriage is gone.
We can take this one inside, and I look around for other non-party members.
No,
As
we
you-
left the rest of the party behind again, remember? Oh, sorry, they left us.
As you glance inside the front door, Jonor, you can see that there doesn't seem to be anyone on the ground floor. The pantry door has actually burst open. You can see that the door that was once set up has been smashed inwards, the door half hanging from its frame. That's immediately visible as you look down. You know that you trapped some revenants in there, but you can't see anything right now.
Oh,
I made a friend.
Ah. Did they leave? Are they still
Oh,
here?
great.
I don't know.
Oh, they probably left.
I was thinking for longer than I realized.
What were you thinking about?
I was having a memory of being whole.
Oh, that's beautiful.
All right. Styx turns around and walks inside.
There's a crash from upstairs, and you watch as one of the windows on the upper floor smashes inwards, and a figure hurtles out the window. But for a moment, streaking down towards the ground before suddenly pausing for a second and rising up so that they're now about 2 or 3 meters off the ground. Styx, you recognize Sevonk as he kind of stands there, dusts a bit of glass off his shoulder.
Has her bow out aimed at this unidentified creature that's burst out the window at them.
Yeah, as you said, well, so not over the top of you, like a few windows down. So almost like as you're looking at the manor house over towards the right, over near the collapsed tower. And yeah, as you watch as he throws out through a window, you can see one of the revenants clawing at the windowsill, trying to get to him as he hovers there for a moment. You see as Sevonk shakes his head, clicks his tongue, brushes off a bit of glass, looks down and goes, "Oh, hello." And then you watch as he begins to slowly lower towards the ground, the magic beginning to fade and dissipate as he steps off this strange like levitation, this magic that he's wielding before he just steps onto the ground, looks around and goes, "Oh, hello there."
Styx is just going to really, like, without any rush, just gently reach over and snap the tip off Tithla's arrow.
That's not very nice. Why would you do that? You know it still hurts.
This is my new friend.
Oh, so your friend's still here.
Greetings and salutations. I am Sevonk. It is wonderful to make your acquaintance.
I'm sorry, Sabok?
Please, Goblin. Sevonk Lesson.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Sevonk Lesson.
No, the bit before it.
I said, oh, please, Goblin.
Okay, well, my name is Tithla.
Tithla. Well met, Tithla.
He does a very over-the-top bow.
Excuse me, thing. It's Tithla.
Tithla.
Nailed it. Thank you very much. Thank you for trying. I appreciate it because it's the effort that counts. And was it Sabok?
Sevonk. And
Sabok?
thank you for not shooting me with your bow. And, do I sense a fellow wizard?
As he looks up and down at you, Jonor.
No, I'm a ranger.
No, he turns away from you, looks towards Jonor.
Do I sense
Spellcasting is mighty there.
Let me guess. Evocation.
Well, you could say that, but I don't think you foresaw the right answer.
Aha! Divination school. Wonderful. Excellent. Pleasure.
I've told you mine. Are you going to tell me yours, or is it how the wizards treat, I believe?
I was originally trained in the art of illusions, but my magic takes a different form nowadays. A bit more of an interest in necromancy. Please don't hold it against me. I'm not that type of necromancer. More to the school of necromancy than people think.
Okay. Styx, you said this is your friend. Can you tell us more about this necromantic illusionary wizard in this land?
Standing right before you, I'm more than happy to share if that's something you have to ask. Please, if there's any questions, feel free to ask. I am before you. As if there's anything you wanted to know, I'd take it from your interactions with Styx that you are also Outlanders like myself.
Yep, that's true. That's true. We are Outlanders, and you're saying you're an Outlander as well? Okay, sure.
Yes, I am not from these lands. I've come from a very different plane. My travels led me here quite unintentionally. I found myself trapped here. I imagine it's quite
I think it's a phrase often uttered here.
yes.
Well, you know.
Divination magic. Now that I might have need of your skills if you're happy to lend me your powers. I'm sure there are some things I could do in your stead. This tower seems to be filled with the undead, for example, and while I am not able to fully take control of all of their forms and functions, I can at least somewhat try and appease them, or at least make a way through that we might clear this tower of its undead monstrosities. So Godfrey, he was trying to calm them down. I don't know if you've been this tower before. One of the undead is quite a lovely chap. We've had a bit of a tete-a-tete. Seems lovely. I'd rather not have anything happen to him. I'll point him out. Make sure we don't blast him with anything.
Yeah, no, we've been through, and he's shown us around. And
oh, you've been here before?
That. Yeah, we're returning here.
Oh, my deepest apologies. I did not mean to wizardsplain. My bad.
Well,
or mage-splain, as we sometimes call it in my lands.
Mage-splaining, some of those ones. Just be, before firing, try to not destroy these creatures because they're a bit more going on to what you think. So let's, I think we need to head inside. Styx has been some progressions and things.
All right. I have many questions about the necromancy, but it will wait.
We can answer them now if it's something that you feel you need to get over and done with. I know many people, when they discover my particular talents, often have questions. Tithla.
No, Tithla got
Jacob.
bored very early on.
Yep.
And has just slightly walked away and sat down on the ground and picked up a stick and is just like carving it.
Killian comes and sits down next to you as you do that. Everyone goes,
There was like the whole bit of the evocation, divination. Tithla was like, nah, I'm out. I'm done.
Nerds. As you go sit down, Killian comes and wanders over and sits down next to you and goes, all good, Tithla? All okay?
I just don't know what they're saying, and they kind of don't care.
I believe they're talking about magic schools, types.
I don't care about that.
Me either.
But they're also kind of saying it in a way that they think they're better than us because we don't do that. I was like, I'm a ranger, and he was like, I don't really care about you or anything you stand for.
I did not reveal that I am in fact a warlock. I felt that would not go down well either.
Is that a thing that people don't like?
Wizards generally don't like people who get their powers for free. Or well, not for free, but without studying. They see it as cheating. They look down on warlocks.
Well, I like you.
I like you too, Tithla.
Oh. Why wouldn't somebody like you? They haven't got to know you yet. That doesn't make sense.
Some people make those decisions before they've ever met a person.
That seems pretty dumb. And anyone who does that seems pretty dumb. Exhibit A.
Killian just nods. I don't think you can count Jonor in that batch. He doesn't seem to be. I have not seen any evidence that he...
Well, no, after he failed at buying me, he then got to know me and it was okay.
I've heard that story. It does seem less like he was buying you and more trying to offer some sort of payment for your education.
You must have heard it wrong then. Here, let me explain it again. And Tithla goes on to explain it in her way.
What is Tithla's way?
That he was trying to buy Tithla. I don't know how else to put it.
Well, you've certainly stuck to your guns on that one the whole way through without any deviation from that course. Yeah, I mean, that'll teach you to offer a scholarship, Jonor. You fucker. That'll learn you.
Once and never again.
That's
you
it.
Nerd. And that's not even in game.
This is why you don't get a special mug from Tom.
Yeah.
If you're wondering.
Oh, that's why. Sure.
If you're wondering. As Styx, Jonor, and Sevank stand there looking into the broken open doors of the castle, you can see the revenant it's broken through the window, howling, suddenly get pulled back. So Godfrey leans out and looks down and goes, you're back. I'm going to lock the doors upstairs to the room with Vladimir. Did you get the skull?
Yes, we did.
Oh, fantastic. He looks around. Where is it?
Well, we'll get to that in a moment. Let's settle inside, some a bit more control, not outside.
I'll meet you in the chapel, then. Downstairs. 5 minutes?
Yep, they'll meet you there.
Godfrey nods, steps back and closes the shutters, sealing off the room from the revenants as you hear this clawing, screaming, scratching noise coming from behind the wooden beams.
As you turn towards look inside, you watch as Savank cocks his head curiously, looks around and goes, "Skull? This is all very macabre. What type of skull are we talking about? Not Styx's skull.
Look, if you've
surely?
not
Quite like Styx.
It's not that glorious skull right there. It's something very interesting, and if you might just be in the right place and right time to see something intriguing. So consider yourself very lucky.
I, as a divination wizard, I was going to guess that you'd believe in fate, my friend.
Well, I do get to control my fate to some degree. If that extends to others, depends if you had the readings and all the rest. We'll take this inside and discuss this at another point.
Indeed. Please, I will follow.
With that, you all begin making your way, and Killian joins you, Tithla, as you begin heading in through the double doors and make your way through the chapel. I don't think we need to... Oh yeah, I'll describe the chapel again. Let's describe the chapel again, just to get you guys back into the flow of things so you know what it sounds like. Let me read out the Chapel of Morning to you. As you step inside the room once more, the cracked wooden pillars supporting the balcony that overhangs the stone wall chapel, it's exactly as you remember. Narrow archways lead to spiral staircases curling up to the balcony, and a door set into the north has a large wooden beam hanging off the side that once barred the way through. The east end of the chapel, you can see the stone altar flanked by the large iron candelabras, the altar itself carved with the symbol of the rising sun. All around, tall arching windows set with panels of stained glass decorate the walls behind the altar. One of the windows, though, has been shattered, covering the chapel floor with shards of coloured glass, and you can see the fog entering, filling up the floor, covering all the flagstones and carpets that once were visible. As you step inside the chapel, a few moments later you hear the sound of footsteps, and as you turn, you see Sir Godfrey step into the room, a large gash across his cheek slowly beginning to seal and knit back up again. Not healing, but some weird undead version of it, as Godfrey undergoes his undead fortitude to recover his health. As he steps forward, moving through, you watch as he looks down at the mist.
Seems we should probably devote some time to fixing this bloody window. How did you go with the skull? We're inside. Please tell me you've got it with you. It's not somewhere stashed away or hidden.
Kind of both, actually. Hey Tithla, can you grab this bag and sort of hold it open for me?
Tithla grabs the bag and grabs the bottom of it. And do you want? As if she's going to tip it inside out.
No, not at this point. Just sort of hold the top of it.
Okay.
Hold this at a nice angle, and I just gotta. This one's gonna be kind of hard to grab.
I can help.
Yeah, well, I think this is the 3-person job. So Styx, can you come around here, and we're gonna get this skull out.
I'm sorry. Who is this, and why do we instantly trust this person? I have a whole list of people not to talk to, and this person isn't even on the list.
It's Jonor.
No, I mean Savank.
I can step out of the room if you.
I'm just saying, what is the point of this list if we just then add people or don't even add? Theo's on the list as a question mark, okay? Like, it's a pretty exclusive list.
Perhaps Tithla, you could add my name to your list.
You're right, and she writes Savank.
Hold on a minute. No, Tithla,
that's next to it.
Yeah, just wait on the Savank on this list. We've known him maybe 5 minutes.
That's okay. I got it.
He
shows you the cross next to his name.
The perfect start. I'm all for this one.
Cross for friends, right?
You are right, Tithla.
X marks the spot of friendship.
It's not personal, but it's just that I don't know you or your personality.
So you don't know or trust me as a person. I mean, that feels a bit personal, Tithla.
It's more of a lack of knowledge than anything in particular that you've done. So really, it's a lack of personality that's the problem.
Could I perhaps rectify this? Are there any questions you need to ask that I could maybe answer and prove to you that I am trustworthy?
I'm sure there are.
That's actually a great idea. What comes to mind? Ask him a question. That'd be perfect.
Why did you ignore me before?
Apologies. I have a bit of a one-track mind, and I found myself in the presence of another wizard, one I could tell was of some significant magical power, and I was hoping that perhaps he might know a spell or two that might assist me have some access to magic. And when I found out he was a divination wizard, well, the possibilities spiraled. I apologize for my rudeness. Please forgive me.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we got this skull when we were at Castle Ravenloft, and it's from
one moment, Tithla. One moment, and just tap on the shoulder. 1 second, Tithla. So I just want to make sure that you're telling us what is actually true. So you wouldn't mind if I just
helpless.
Doesn't mean he was telling the truth, though.
Yeah,
you wouldn't mind if
people don't lie.
People definitely. Ask him another question, and so you wouldn't mind if I just had a little bit of a insight into your thoughts. That is fine by you, right?
I'm happy to allow, if this is what it requires to build trust, I'm happy to allow access to my memories, but some of my memories, my life is my own and my business my own. I will keep some secrets, as I'm sure you would as well.
What kind of business do you have?
And I'm going to cast now.
Is it like imports, exports? Is it like a homemade thing? Do you have an Etsy?
I'm not sure what this Etsy is.
It's like a market, and you go there and you sell things, but sometimes you just buy the really cheap version.
Oh, the East Side Market.
Like 10 times as much.
You lot of
dumb bit.
The East Side Market from Oxenford.
Huh. Me and my
call
friends
it the
call
Etsy.
it
Is it? Yeah, no, I've heard the name before.
Yeah. So is that a yes? You're a big Etsy seller?
I not personally, but I have patronized such a location.
Understood.
Jonor, as you cast Detect Thoughts, the surface thoughts that you hear from him, he's very mildly annoyed by Tithla, but he's keeping it in check because he's trying to be polite. He doesn't want to insult Tithla. He has realized in this moment that you lot are from Nostea. He recognizes that name. Jonor, he also, the fact that he just discussed the East Side Market, you can see in his mind a mental image as he remembers it. He's been there. He's from Nostea. He's from the same place you are. As you read the surface thoughts, he's not very keen on having you delve too deeply. You can sense a reticence there, but you can also sense a need for something else. There's something driving him, something very important that he feels he needs to accomplish, but he's blocking you access. Do you delve deeper?
I just wanted to know he wasn't Sergei given necromancy and illusionary like
he's not Sergei.
dispositions?
Look, if he is Sergei, he's doing an incredible job masking his thoughts. Not that that's something that Sergei couldn't do, but do you want to delve deeper? Yeah, the only way to know for sure. Get a shovel and dig through that juicy grey matter into the brain stem at the very core.
Very intriguing.
Metaphorically speaking.
What comes to mind when I say lich?
For a moment, you watch as a very surprised, confused expression crosses his face. You see a ritual taking place for a moment, Jonor. A circle of robed figures surrounding an altar, upon which a hand, mummified, sits, hovering in place. It's not fully there. You can see that it's partially illusionary. And you watch as the illusion begins to twist and turn, pulling back a form, a corpse, desiccated, dressed in purple robes and gold armor, stands there. A crown of gold and silver and electrum across his head, forming a lattice work, as cold, harsh eyes stare down at the cultists, and a single name rises in the memory. Vecna.
And this is one of his memories.
One of his memories.
Okay.
But from the view, he's not standing with the cultists. He's looking down at the cultists in this ritual chamber.
Okay. All right. Savank, I'm quite happy with what I've seen so far. I'll respect your boundaries from here on in, and I just continue the casting of the spell.
Alrighty. So you do want to push further? Or you're gonna respect his boundaries?
No, I respect his boundaries because there was the check and he's passed.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, there's no thing of Sergei. In fact, as this memory comes unbidden, Jonor, hard to know without delving deeper, but no reference, no thought of Sergei comes up at all. You're not even sure he knows Sergei is a lich.
Yeah. Hang on, doesn't know Sergei or
doesn't know Sergei and doesn't know he's a lich. There's no mention of Sergei at all. You don't think he even knows Sergei's here or a lich. There's no reference to Sergei in any way, sense, or form connected to the word lich.
Very good. Tithla, well, if you can grab this bag, I think he doesn't know of some of the evils in this land, so I don't think he's aligned particularly malevolently.
I'm sorry, did you just ask me to get his bag as though I was some sort of assistant?
Oh, no, our bag. You know how I was worried about.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you said, can you get his bag? And I was like, I can. But...
I don't really have a bag that I need getting. As you watch as he taps his side, and you can see underneath his coat as he pulls it aside, a bag of holding very similar to your own station there, Jonor.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Tithla grabs a bag and shoves her arm in there. How do I get this? I can't reach it.
So what you need to do is imagine
a head in it.
Turn inside out.
Do you?
She goes to do it. Someone's got to stop her.
Jonor is aware of her handling and is going to not allow that. That's a repositioning dex sort of action going on there.
Alrighty. I'm going to do this as a contested sleight of hand in that case.
Love it.
I think Tithla's head might be going in the bag of holding.
Just a sleight of hand's not that great. That's a nat 20.
Yes. This is the chaos I wanted tonight.
That's a 24. What did you get? Did you beat
7.
24 nat 20?
7.
Not even half.
Okay.
Not even a third.
Okay. Tithla.
Yo, what's up? Just trying to help.
As you put your head into the bag of holding, you feel this rush of movement, sound as wind rushes past your ears, lights flicker and flash all around you, and all of a sudden, you see this swirling expanse, a nebula, stars glittering in the distance, curving back in on themselves in an infinite loop. And as your mind tries to comprehend the sheer scope of this unfolding space, I am going to need a sanity check. You're gazing upon the infinite compressed into a small spot. This is eldritch horror shit. As you try and comprehend. Oh man, fantastic.
That's a nat 20.
Hey! Back-to-back nat 20s. Tithla, your mind is an open vessel, ready to be filled. As you gaze upon the void gazes back, but you're ready. You are a void. As you look into the emptiness.
Tithla does her own echo. Hello.
It doesn't echo. The sound. There is no sound. Echo. As you open your mouth and try to speak, you feel your air pulled out of your lungs as your eyeballs begin to feel this heat, and this cold begins to spread across your skin as your eyes all of a sudden go blurry. as the tear film evaporates in a second from the surface of your eyes. As you open your mouth to say hello, you feel the moisture inside your mouth immediately dry up as your lungs begin to freeze and boil at the same time, this immense pain shooting through you. You are going to take... it's only 3 points of damage. You take 3 points of damage as your head is inside the bag of holding. We're treating this...
damage?
I'm going to say technically this is necrotic damage, kind of.
Just if it was, I have resistance.
Oh, sorry. It is technically necrotic damage. We're treating the astral sea as like space in our world. There is obviously no pressure, no atmosphere. Any liquids immediately vaporize into their gaseous component, so all of the moisture on your eyeballs and in your mouth and lungs immediately vaporizes, and you begin to feel your lungs collapse under the pressure as all the air that's in them is pulled out in a moment. Your ears pop as you feel this pressure behind them, and you begin to feel your sinuses bubble as the mucus inside begins to turn solid. Space is fucked. You don't want to be outside in space without a spacesuit, and Tithla's experiencing that firsthand. Tithla, this doesn't feel good. But as your mind...
Has an odd calm about it.
Yeah. Natural 20 for the sanity check. As you gaze into the abyss, not only am I going to actually remove one of your sanity, I'm going to give you you're going to gain a positive bonus to your sanity, because this is somehow this gazing upon the infinite fills you with cosmic knowledge. You feel this sense of calm. You're a small...
You start to understand your place in the universe.
Yeah.
The troubles that we're going through, it's all relative, and the scale to it, not that bad.
Tithla, you go straight through nihilism and into optimistic nihilism as you realize you're a small, insignificant speck in an indifferent and uncaring universe. But you're you, and it's brilliant that you're you. For the momentary, fleeting instant that you get to experience being Tithla before your molecules rejoin the vast dance across the universe. As you gaze out upon the infinite, you know you're made of star stuff, Tithla. The molecules that made you were once forged in the heart of a dying star. As you have this immense epiphany, as you gaze upon the infinite, and then you feel the bag pulled off your head as Jonor grabs it and removes it a second later. Your eyes are blurry. Your eyes are blurry and dry. As you go to breathe, you can't breathe for a few moments until the mucus is able to recover the surface of your lungs once again, which takes a few seconds. For a moment, Tithla, you're just like trying to complete that gas exchange as the carbon dioxide and oxygen can't cross over the gap between your lungs as you struggle to breathe.
I understand. I understand what my mum said when she said that I shine bright like a shiny star.
Are you okay? What's going on here? Your eyes, your face is red.
Song. No, Jonor, don't stop for him. Keep going.
I grab my coat and sort of wrap it around him and just wipe up any of the... I know he doesn't have any liquid left there, I suppose, but are you okay? Just what's... I've never
You'd see
heard of
Tithla's
anyone
lips
doing
are
this.
dry and cracked like she's been in the desert, like she's been exposed to some immense heat.
Yeah, I'm good.
Let's get this water flask and just have a drink quick.
Thank you. I will. That's some very nice water. I appreciate you.
That was perfectly timed as I poured out some extra drink. I know we all heard that. Sorry, I thought I'd needed. As you pour out a mug of water for Tithla. A few ice cubes in there, Jonor, as you prestidigitate the ice cold again.
What did you see?
I saw everything and nothing. And it all made sense.
Tithla, can I add one more thing that you saw? This isn't going to make sense for Curse of Strahd, but this is a momentary thing I can use for Return of the Giants. As you gaze into the astral sea. Tithla, in that moment before Jonor removed the hood, you happen to turn your head just towards the left.
To the left.
As the curvature of space and time warps in on itself, you can see this dark patch where no light shines, like tendrils reaching out from a central point, and in the very center, this large, dark red star. And then the hood is removed. The bag is removed, not the hood. It's not the hood of holding. It is definitely a bag.
I'll put the hood back on if I need to.
The hood of holding.
Just out of curiosity, obviously,
Yes.
Styx wouldn't have a fucking clue about this.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'll answer.
That being a demi-plane in a demi-plane, but also the astral sea. Is it the astral sea, or is it like a
bag
snippet
of
the astral sea?
bag of holdings hold a little demi-plane that's locked away, but when the bag is destroyed, the stuff is scattered across the astral sea. So the way I kind of imagine it is that the astral sea holds all the planes of existence, right? That's where the planes are kind of distributed. And in the way we've kind of done it, we've done them more as like planets as well as planes. They're kind of like locked in around themselves. We're really sort of leaning into more like a Spelljammer kind of interpretation of how the planes are connected. So like the elemental plane of fire, for example, you can travel there by magic. If you had an astral craft, you could travel there to the planet, which is this massive ball of magma orbiting a star. So all the elemental planes of air orbit the one star. All the elemental planes orbit the one star: air, water, fire, and earth. So these are places you can travel to. So the way I'm kind of envisioning it is that there's also little micro pockets, these little bubbles of the astral sea that are locked away and contained. And that's what the bag of holdings tapping into, this kind of momentary locked away gravitational pause in space, like a little bubble.
So in theory,
Yeah.
if we all climbed in there,
Yes, and then you broke the bag of holding, you'd be scattered into the astral sea. Yes, you would.
but we'd be free from Strahd's plane.
Would you, though?
Yep, we would be, as someone who's seen beyond the veil.
Tithla, you don't know that.
Anyway, that was just a mind thought. Carry on.
Yeah, I mean, look, if it wasn't for the fact that the astral sea would kill you within sort of 40 to 50 seconds upon a... Well, not Styx. Styx would be floating through the astral sea for quite a long time. Until he, like, drifted through the phlogiston and then just got, like, pulled apart to your composite parts. There's this, like... The astral sea is weird. There's these, like, areas of primordial energy called the phlogiston that, like, floats around. It's kind of like the nebula clouds that we have in our world, but they, like... Weird shit happens in them. Weird stuff with magic. And, like, as you enter it in, you'd get pulled apart into your composite pieces until there's nothing left of you, Styx. You were just an untethered consciousness.
Huh.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We'll have to find out one day.
No, Tithla knows this. Tithla, you just with a natural 20 as you gaze upon the infinite. Your sanity's intact. You
Styx didn't ask, so
no,
it didn't
that's true.
come up.
Yeah, so that's for you. You don't know.
Let's not be silly.
I was not expecting us to have like a full fucking like moment as Tithla understands the infinite. It just goes like, I am one with the stars.
So what happened?
Well, I realized whatever presence it is, I understand how we fit into the universe and why and how.
Well, why and how?
Well, I don't really know why, but the how is very simple. We're all matter. We all matter, but we are all matter that exists.
Yeah, okay.
We are all one matter, but we are all different matters, and we will have our time amongst the stars, and we come back and we've formed who we are today, and we will enjoy this process until once more when we are returned to the stars. It's quite simple, really.
That really does sound like some of the readings I've had many years ago in my early wizarding days.
Nah, it's probably more advanced than that.
Look, from simple things, deep things emerge. So
From little things.
We all thought it, but you just had to come out with it.
We're all better than that, Jacob.
You're not good enough for it, you mean?
I did warn everyone that it was going to be a session like this tonight.
It's so much more fun to sing in Tithla's voice.
Big things, little things. Right, that's the wrong way around.
Tithla wouldn't have got it wrong this time. She understands.
Oh, that's true.
I think we need you need to tell me, we need to sit down one next to a campfire. You need to tell me a little bit more about this.
I can draw it for you if you would like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, how about after we finish with our new friend here, I can draw it.
You watch as Godfrey sort of like coughs and goes, I understand. Tithla may have had some experience sticking her head inside the bag of holding, but the skull? I'm guessing it's in the bag of holding?
I didn't see it there. But it doesn't really matter. I believe in that sense, everything exists but doesn't exist at the same time. Perhaps everything returns to its primal space sense. And as we need it, it reconstitutes back into who it is or what it is upon retrieval.
That's great, but the skull does matter and we need it.
Well, it is matter.
No, we need this. We need this.
Matter.
We need the skull. My friends, my companions, my husband are all bound by this curse.
I like to think that Tithla can reach in, imagine the skull, and pull it out. That's what Tithla's going to try and do.
You might like to think that, but we are still bound by the laws of the bag of holding, which is needs to be small enough.
But I think Tithla understands how it works so well now that it works out.
No. Tithla, as you reach in and you picture the skull, you pull out part of the snout before it gets caught on the rim of the bag of holding. So just the snout is emerging as the bag is stretched around the edge of the
bag. Tithla does that
bag.
and she holds it and she says, it's a bit big. Do you think you could help?
No.
Okay. I'll leave it here then. Godfrey?
I don't have any magic to shrink things down.
Okay. How about you, Savank? Savank?
Savank.
It's pronounced Savank.
It is, yes. Savank Lesson.
Savank Lesson.
I'm not really that practiced in the spell enlarge, reduce. I do know it. Did you want me to?
If you wouldn't mind, it would be much appreciated for this very moment in which this matter is occupying both space and time, whilst also not occupying space. It's a weird barrier that it's existing across.
Right.
I'm sorry, am I going too fast for you?
No, keeping up fine, thank you, Tithla. Let me see here. Yes. You watch as Savank reaches into his spell component pouch, moves around for a little bit, pulls out a few little pinches of dust. You can see that he's got a few items in his hand, and he crushes them in his hand, wrapped in bandages. You watch as the magic begins to take hold, swirling around his fingers as he unleashes it, places his hand upon the skull, and intones, Esak I Zevon. And you watch as the skull begins to shrink and minimize as he grabs onto the skull and pulls it forth from inside the bag of holding. As he holds it aloft, you watch as he begins to laugh. All I had to do with you fools was get you to trust me, and now the skull is mine. And as he places it over his head, you watch as it forms a crown of dragon. I was wondering when anyone would call me out on this, but you all just sat there, just took this as if it was happening. You're just like, yeah, this checks out. You're just like, yeah, no, we're not going to stop him. This seems fine.
It's fighting time.
It's a trust him.
As he pulls out the skull, casting and reduce on it, he then places it down on the ground. Oh, well, he hands it to Godfrey. Godfrey seems to be like reaching out. He hands it to Godfrey, and then goes to cancel the spell, and then realizes that Godfrey's just holding this by himself. Like, pause, goes, if you want to take that somewhere, you might want to do it very quickly. I can't hold this spell for much longer. You're going to need to quick, smart. We've got time's ticking. What are we doing?
Thank you. I will take it from you.
Godfrey looks down and goes, no, I will definitely take it from here.
I was just going to pass it to you.
I'm already holding it, Tithla.
Well, okay. Well, look. I will have it.
No. But you can accompany me as we return this to the bones of Argynvostholt.
Okay.
And Tithla puts a hand on it to help.
As you place your hand upon the skull, Tithla, you feel that connection to Dracob for a moment pulse. There's a presence here in the skull, a consciousness,
bound within the bones. You can see Jacob pausing as if he can hear something, and you catch it too. A roar, echoing in the chambers, in the hollow eye sockets, in the empty maw. The roar of a dragon trapped within the skull.
Tithla's looking deep into the eyes of the dragon and has a little flinch at the roar that nobody else can hear.
Ah, yes. It's ready to be home. Let's go.
With that,
Owen, did I just out of curiosity for Styx, did I meet Argynvostholt when I was here in Sunsword form?
you met a man, brilliantly armored, 6'4", with little silver scales across his cheeks, who introduced himself as Argynvostholt.
Probably not then.
Would Styx understand how dragons work enough to know that they can take different forms?
Do you want to make me a nature or arcana check, Styx?
You bet I do. Doing arcana.
17. Yes, Styx. You know that when dragons come into their adult power, a lot of them can change their forms, change how they appear. Often choosing to appear as elves, humans, dwarves, tieflings, dragonborn. Yeah, you know that dragons can take on many different forms. There's not many dragons in Barovia. How you know this, you're not quite sure.
And when I did meet him, did I get any sort of a bead on him, like as far as their quality of being a good person, I guess?
He led an order of silver knights that were devoted to justice and protecting the weak. Yeah.
So a bad guy.
Yeah. Absolute cunt. No, you do. I mean, your memories of the Silver Dragon, the Order of the Silver Dragon, are very, very fragmented at best, but you know that Tatiana trusted them.
Well, then I trust them. That's all. I just was curious what I remembered.
Perfect. As you begin moving your way through, following the form of Sir Godfrey as he leads, moving very quickly, understanding that the spell reduce doesn't have a very long active time. You know that it's not got very long before it's going to be a bit of a problem. As he begins rushing forwards, desperately trying to get to the bones of Argynvostholt, you watch as he heads down the same passageway that he went with you before, Styx, down into the mausoleum, down into the crypt. But this time, rather than turning right towards the forge, he turns left down another hallway of these long, very, very beautifully carved sarcophagi of fallen knights. And at the very end, in a large open antechamber, you can see the curled over skeleton of a dragon. It looks like the dragon was sleeping when it lay here. Curled around itself like a dog forming a circle, you can see the tail curls all the way around where the head should be. The wings broken and scattered on the floor. The severed neck lying partially raised, frozen in the moment of death. Scraps of skin and scales and flesh still cling to the skeleton. There's a smell, a dank, musty smell in the crypt as you enter. As Godfrey rushes forwards, you watch as the skull begins to grow in size, shunting bigger, same as it did in the castle, before Godfrey has to drop it on the ground, only a few meters away from the body. Tithla, you're there trying to help him. Could you make me a strength check, please? Athletics.
I would love to.
I can tell you're going to be awesome at this too.
That's a nat 1.
Is that really a natural one? Tithla, the skull lands on top of you. As you go to help and try and hold the weight, the skull, and you find yourself crushed underneath the jaw inside the mouth of the dragon.
Tithla's muttering to herself about how while these atoms are joined here, that is but a construct, and the perspective of weight doesn't actually exist. in this construct, should she allow it, this will be lifted off of her and it won't be harming her. It's just she needs to calm down, and that's just how she's muttering, as though that's the real science.
It's probably good that you think that, because the skull with this scraping, sliding noise suddenly begins to pull across the stone flagons with you still trapped inside the mouth.
Ow, 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 ow.
You watch as the skull slams into the bones of the neck, and you hear this clicking noise as the jaw clicks back into place. Tithla, you are now solidly trapped inside the mouth as you find your arms locked in between some of the teeth.
Ow.
You hear the sound of bone clicking and scraping against stone as you watch as the wings begin to reassemble themselves piece by piece. The ribs sliding back into place as the stone floor, all the bones scattered across it begin to move back into the form of the dragon. And you watch as the corpse, the mummified version of the dragon, begins to come back together. And as it rises, a blast of icy breath shoots over you, Tithla, and you hear a voice. I am Argynvostholt, the silver wind of the north. And I am whole. And as the mouth opens, you watch as Tithla rolls out, slamming into the ground, and rolls over herself across the floor, landing at your feet, Styx.
Can Tithla try and do either a dex save or some sort of acrobatics to land nicely?
Yeah, I'd say
in a bow.
I'd say acrobatics is good.
Acrobatics. Can it be? Yeah, okay, that's annoying. That's a 12.
It's not the best you've ever done, but you do manage to kind of catch yourself. Frost coats your cloak, and you can see little crystals across your eyelashes and through your hair from the blast of icy wind that emerges from the dragon's maw. As you stand there, gazing up, Tithla, you spin round into a bow. As the dragon leans its head over, you watch as the dust around the room begins to glitter silver. And as it flows up over the flesh, you can see the dragon pulling itself back. But not corporeal, spiritual. As the scales begin to reform from the silver dust around the floor, it begins to become partially transparent as this enormous spectral dragon stands before you, raising itself up as it looks down. And then in a moment, you watch as it takes the form of a man. Brilliant white silver hair, dressed in this resplendent armor, a massive sword on its back. You see as the man smiles, sharp canine teeth visible through his gums, and as you see the little sparkling of scales up across his cheeks and on his forehead. Well, I am free once more. Free from the clutches of that vampire filth in Castle Ravenloft. Tell me, who has freed me from this prison?
Well, it was sort of like us three plus like a couple others who aren't us four. But like there's some, and then there was one more that wasn't here, and then there was another one who didn't know that they were helping, but like we
Argynvostholt. And Argynvostholt. You are greeted by Tithla the Goblin, Jonor the Wizard, Styx.
You know, I'm more than Styx, right?
Styx, the Styx. Styx the unique.
Styx the sword. Yeah. Does he look familiar? Does the sword on his back look familiar?
Styx does not have his sword.
No, like, does the sword on Argynvostholt
look familiar to Styx? Oh, to you guys?
Or to us?
No.
All of it, I guess.
No.
Okay, does it look familiar to Styx?
Styx, as you gaze upon the sword on his back. Yeah, you've seen him wield this before.
Can I roll for core memory for this guy?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Somebody's watched Inside Out recently.
Let's have a history check.
Maybe. I've got a 6-year-old.
That's very true.
It's also a great movie.
So you'll be off to go see Moana 2 with her very soon, I imagine?
Yeah.
20, unnatural.
Oh, did you hear?
Are you rolling
DJ?
as Grinner? Oh, no, you are rolling as Styx. You've just changed your nickname into Grinner. I've only just noticed that in Roll20.
Oh, I need to fix that.
What was your fact, Jacob? Do you want to share your fact really quickly?
Last month, Dwayne Johnson opened 2 different weekends at #1 box office with 2 different movies.
Pretty impressive.
So far as from what I can tell, the only person to ever do that.
Wow.
So as far as you can tell, not
Yeah,
a
the
stat from the
research that I've
internet.
done.
And that's I looked on page 2 of Google, so you know I was thorough.
I looked on DJ's IMDb. Okay,
Oh well, we know that everything on IMDb is factual.
on just Dwayne Johnson's.
Oh, good. So solid research then.
But no, apparently, yeah, he's the only one that's ever done it. And you can take that to the bank.
I don't know
They
if
may
you
not
can,
give you a
though.
lot, but you
I don't
can
know if you
take
can. I don't think you can. Jacob, as he's just admitted, has only looked on one place for this and cannot cite or source it. IMDb is not a
wasn't
source.
that website. It wasn't. Come on.
It's like Wikipedia. Anyone can add it. We have a page at IMDb, mate.
Am I on there?
I don't know. I haven't checked it in a long time.
Probably do.
Full
I'm
disclosure.
distracted. I'm out of the session now.
Styx, as you gaze upon the form of Argynvost, you feel yourself slipping again as your memories twist and turn. You're outside, standing atop a tower, a beacon, a crystalline beacon, shining with this brilliant silver light atop the tower, casting this radiant glow across the lands. You feel a hand holding you in place, holding you up as you examine it. The light from your sword, the light from you mixing with the light of the beacon. And standing next to you, see Argynvost in his human form. Well, Tatiana, can you feel it? Is it working? You watch as Tatiana closes her eyes for a moment, trying to feel through the bond to you. I am not sure. I feel something. The power resonating, maybe. What about you? As she focuses on you again.
There is something there. I can't quite grasp it, but it is there.
Perhaps we need more time to acclimatize to it. We could try again another time. Or maybe spend some more time here. I don't have anywhere else I need to be right away.
I mean, this is important enough. We should look into this as far as we can.
We did promise Sergei we'd investigate. Okay, let's spend a little longer, see what we can find.
Amongst companions like these? Why not?
Indeed. I find the presence of your sword somewhat calming, Tatiana. The light from it bathes my scales in a warm glow reminiscent of sunlight. This beacon is my attempt to replicate that. I have poured much of my power into this, but so long as it shines, the light should feed the crops, scare away creatures of the night.
It is quite the bastion that you have created.
Yes, these lands have seen too much conflict. And the knights are here to, hopefully, take that burden from the shoulders of the Barovians. We can be the shield that guards them, the sword that protects them, armor that binds them.
Which is Tatiana nods. Well, thank you, Argynvost, and I am most impressed with your magic. I would love to see more of this. I have to head back to Ravenloft tonight, but perhaps I could come by in a week or so?
I do not like how much time you spend at the castle, Tatiana, but the von Zaroviches are here to stay. While I may not agree with their methods, Strahd and Sergei seem fine. Their father, though, piece of work. I hope they take after their mother.
As he smiles and looks down at Tatiana. She smiles and nods ruefully. And then the vision ends. Styx. You find yourself standing before Argynvost once again. You watch
I think
as
Styx is probably just like.
you watch
very
as
much.
Argynvost narrows his eyes as he looks at you. Cocks his head. There is something about you. Familiarity. Have we met?
We have, but in a different form. For myself, I was the Sun Sword.
Ah. I wanted to feel the glow of your radiance upon my scales once again. But when our tower fell, when our bastion broke, Strahd's horde descended upon our people, I feared I would be kept in the darkness, lost. But you have returned me, you and your friends. I too am in a different form, my old friend. But my light, the light of Argynvost, can shine once more. Little one, I felt your touch upon my bones as you carried my skull. There is
I was trying to help carry the weight, like, because I knew it was just a construct of, like, all the matter is joined through chemical bonds and electrical signals somewhat.
He
but
breathes
it's
out
kinda
this
like an
blast of
attraction.
icy breath that tickles your hair and momentarily grows these crystals of frost across your cheeks. Little one, you speak much but say little. Listen to me. There is something of the Drake about you. Your bow that you carry.
Yeah.
Show it to me.
What? Here, you can see I made it with my dad. Like, you can see it's got some like cool little carvings on it. That's me, and that's him, and that's Mum around the back. She's just there. Yeah. Do you want to see?
I see, little one. Have your Drake step forward. Place the bow upon his snout.
Jacob, come over here. Jacob, listen to me. Come on, don't embarrass me.
As Jacob pads over, sort of looking a bit distracted, having chewed a rat in half, you watch as Jacob looks up at you, half a rat hanging out. As Jacob
Good boy.
finishes off the rat sucking on the tail, then moves forward. You see burp up a little bit of like fur from the rat, a bit of the hide. Cough it up like a hairball.
Jacob, just stay still for a moment, okay? Please? Thank you, my friend.
And Tithla places it.
As Jacob leans forward and sniffs the bow, you watch as Argynvost does the same. A blast of icy cold energy begins to emanate from Argynvost's snout. Crystals of ice begin to grow across the wood, cracking and warping at Tithla, and you watch as the bow is shattered into a million splinters, held in place by these chunks of ice. And then as Argynvost breathes in, you watch as the ice constricts, pulling the wood together, sealing it as it takes on this white, frosty appearance. The dark browns and earthy greys of the natural bark replaced with this brilliant white. And at the ends, where the bow is strung, the wood has reformed into these splayed dragon wings. The string, you can see it steam ever so slightly. And as you place your fingers upon it, you feel cold emanating.
Ow, it's very cold. Is it meant to be that cold?
Yes, you carry Argynvost's breath with you. For helping return my skull.
Thank
For
you.
your bond with your Drake, I grant you this boon. My breath
his name
of
is
ice. Dracob. Guard this little one.
I will guard him.
As you feel the frost on the bow, Tithla, you may add the dragon wing bow to your inventory with ice as the element.
Hell yeah.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Thank you. This is...
And Tithla, the first thing she does after like getting a feeling back in her fingers from it being cold is check for the engraving that she did with her
All
dad.
there. Yep. The bow is that the engravings that you did with your family still there. Even more so, as you begin to examine it and pull the string back, you watch as the string resonates for a moment. You hear this sound of cracking ice, and you watch as an arrow made of ice forms in place.
Everyone, please, just...
And Tithla's going to go to the side and aim at like a barrel or a plank of wood or something and let loose.
As the shard of ice shoots out from the bow, striking into the wood, you watch as it cracks and shatters, the pieces splintering into the wood as it freezes the sight.
That's pretty cool. Thank you, Mr. Argynvostholt. And this is a great halt. Up here.
This castle, my keep, my hold, is broken. It has been shattered by the machinations of the evil that lurks in these lands. My knights transformed, but my light shall shine upon them once again.
And you watch.
Okay. We kind of want to help that.
You have already done enough. I am whole.
And you watch as Argynvostholt turns for a moment and looks back at you, Styx.
And you, my friend, will be too.
With that, you watch as the silver dragon, the spectral dragon, begins to fade away. Suddenly, a beam of brilliant ice-white light shoots up from where it was standing, piercing through the stone, leaving behind these ripples of light across the surface. As you shade your eyes against the sudden blinding white light, the room goes dark. You feel a rumble through the tower. You watch as next to you, Sir Godfrey looks around in confusion, having bowed the second Argynvostholt appeared and then not given a chance to say anything. You see him kind of stand up and goes,
Is that it?
The beacon. And with that, Godfrey turns and sprints out of the room.
The beacon of Gondor has been lit.
Yeah, basically. He just literally goes, the beacon! And then this sallow undead form moves with surprising speed as the Revenant just takes off for the stairs back up towards the ground floor. Leaving the three of you kind of stand, or four of you kind of stand, actually five of you, because Killian's there too. As the five of you kind of stand there, the three of you plus Killian and Savunk, which is Savunk looks and goes,
Wow, a real-life dragon. Well, a spiritual one anyway. Didn't think there were dragons in Barovia.
Surprise!
Please, sorry, Jonor, I did not mean to interrupt.
Let's see where he's going to this beacon. I think Styx, let's go to this beacon. I think this is probably quite significant for you. Let's move and follow.
All right.
As you begin to make your way towards the stairs, Styx, the blazing heat from the forge to your right washes over you, and there's a flash of golden light emanating from the heart of the forge. And as you turn, you see your sword, yourself. The blacksmith stands there. In his hands, to your eye, a glowing beacon of light, filling the room with this warmth as he moves towards the hearth, and you feel the pull as he reaches towards your sword.
I think Styx is probably a little stunned for a second, even with everything else that's going on and the rush to get upstairs. He's probably going to stare at that for a second, look at the others, look back at it, and then just let out this and start walking towards it. Just constant.
Jonor and Tithla, you see this happen.
Oh no! He's been taken over!
This This is unusual. Let's see. What is he drawn to?
I've never heard that noise before. We need to stop him.
To be fair,
Give him a moment.
To be fair, he when I was here with Styx before, when I first met the chap, we came downstairs, he was talking about something to do with reforging. He had a sword that he kind of summoned, and then he had a broken...
Reforging his sword?
He had a broken bit of one, and he handed it over, and really, it all seemed like a whole thing. He was talking to this, like,
sword
zombified...
been remade?
I don't know. It's what he seemed to be doing. He got this zombie to do it, this, like, charred husk of a person, and they, like, had this connection... It was bizarre. I was freaked out.
Right over there.
Yeah. And then he went to say something, and he kind of froze for like an hour. And so I got bored, and I wandered upstairs with Godfrey. And we came down to check on him like 2 or 3 times over the course of like 3 hours. And he was standing there making that noise.
But you said he had like a connection with them, yeah?
Yeah, it was weird. It was very weird.
Well, then I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, I mean, I have to say, I've not encountered a thing like Styx before. He just does seem to have these moments of...
It's a someone. Like, referring to someone as a thing is not very nice unless that's what they want. Is that what Styx wants? I guess I haven't asked. Maybe that's on me.
He does appear to be some sort of warforged. I think he is a...
Sure, but I guess my point is we haven't really asked how Styx likes to be referred to.
Styx, keep making that noise if you're happy with whatever we choose to use to describe you.
Just out in the distance from the other side of the room.
I think he's got other things on his mind. Sorry, that was a bit tangled. I think he's got other things on his mind. I don't think he's really considering this right now. I don't think we need to be too worried about it.
Well, we also didn't need to ask him this very moment. We could have waited a few minutes.
You were the one who insisted this was important. I thought better get it out of the way.
Well, I mean, let's be reasonable. You know what? I'm not trying to start a fight. We're trying to be friends.
I'm happy to go and accompany your friend Styx, my friend Styx. If you want to go and see what's up with the dragon, I wouldn't mind seeing this reforging. It's not something I've ever participated in, the reforging of a blade. It seems like a very special blade as well.
I have a feeling this beacon may be here. I think I care for Styx. Let's make sure he's fine, Tithla, and forges okay.
Would you like me to just quickly look at the beacon and then I can come back and just make sure things are okay and not like wigging out?
We'll go up there, we'll glance together and come back and check on Styx.
I'm happy to go by myself. It's okay.
We can do it together.
I'm happy. It's okay.
What pace is Styx moving towards the...
For the podcast listeners, Owen's eyes have never been wider in excitement at the idea of Tithla going alone.
And Styx is probably, like, honestly, most of the way across the room, although he's moving at, like, a weird kind of mesmerized shuffle.
You know, we could probably go and look at it and come back, and Styx would still be on their way there.
Yep. Styx is okay. Let's check out this beacon. All right, let's go. Let's go find
Killian looks up at the beacon.
Keep an eye on Styx.
Yeah, Killian looks up at the beacon, looks at you guys, looks up the stairs towards where the Godfrey ran off, exclaiming, "The beacon!" He looks at Styx, looks at the stairs, looks at Styx, goes, "Oh, I'll keep an eye on him as well. Tell me what the beacon is."
Okay, then Jacob with me.
As Jacob rushes off, he's like, "I wanted to give the good boy a pat." As Jacob rushes off.
With Killian.
Oh, yes. As Killian and Jacob head down the corridor towards Styx, Tithla, Jonor, and Savank rush upstairs. As you sprint up the stairs, you took a bit of time talking. Godfrey's gone. Where do you guys want to go?
Godfrey, come back.
Godfrey does not respond.
Where could he be gone? Wait,
only
one moment. I take a moment.
I go to
think
track.
of.
I want to use my survival and look for footprints.
That checks out. Let's have a survival check.
Sorry, I cut you off, Tom. Do you want to go?
You're good. So as you do that, I will start to depict a picture of Godfrey and describe him the way I can, and then articulate him in rune form, and then cast locate creature.
Ooh, and how we haven't done your locate creature yet. We've done locate object. How do you want your locate creature to look? Do you pull forth a card
that leads you to its location using your divination powers? Do you concentrate and a light appears to your eyes that you follow? How does it look?
I think tying to the divination cards make a lot of sense. Pulling through a couple of them, and the faces, they would have changed. You pull out normally the 7 of spades is something else, but this time it's the person looking for, and as I pull that out, I then...
Actually, it's the Tarokka card, the tower. I don't need to change anything here. As you pull forth the Tarokka card, you see a tower, lightning striking the top of it, and you know, Jonor, that's where you need to head.
Oh, Tithla, I think it's going... I think we need to go, and I imagine you're doing your tracking at this point.
Yeah, Tithla, 19, as you begin examining the stairs, you can see... it's more what you hear, actually, rather than what you see. You as you look around for footprints, the dust here has been so disturbed, it's hard to track any footprints anywhere. But as you place your hand upon the wood, you feel these little vibrations, and as you place your ear against the wood, you can hear the sound of footsteps rushing up the staircase above.
I think Jonor and I would then, at the exact same time, be like, "It's up the stairs!"
Yeah. And you definitely did not say the same thing like you just did then. So as you begin to take off at a run, you climb up to the second story, passing by the room that you met Vladimir in. As you pass by the open doorway, you can see the body of Vladimir slumped in the throne. And as the tower shakes again, you watch as Vladimir raises his head and turns towards you, the blue flames in his eyes. What are you? And then you watch as the face pauses for a moment. The lines disappearing as Vladimir pauses and looks down at his hands. What has happened to me? I was dead. I am dead.
You know what's happened. Listen to your heart.
You watch as he reaches in, breaks open his chest, pulls out his heart. No. As he looks down at his hands, the throne. Where is Godfrey? My love. As he stands and looks around, you can see a change has come across Vladimir since you last saw him, but you continue on chasing up the stairs. As you climb the spiral staircase leading up to the top of the tower, the light emanating off the stonework here is visible now. Highly, highly visible, almost reflecting sunlight burning through the tower, but soft and silver. And as you burst out through the upper floor, you can see Godfrey kneeling before this enormous crystal beacon set in an inlay of metal, dark iron, silver veins running across it in the shape of dragon wings. And as Godfrey kneels before it, you can hear him saying a prayer in Draconic. Does anyone speak Draconic? Tithla probably does. You're a Drake
Yes.
Warden.
Yep.
Jonor, yes, no? No.
Aasimar.
That's okay. As Tithla, as you listen, you instinctually know the language of the dragons, being a Drake Warden, and having studied a bit of the language of the dragons yourself as well on Jonor's scholarship. As you focus and listen,
Ownership?
it's what we're calling it. As you focus and listen,
Nope.
you hear Sir Godfrey saying, "By the light of the silver dragon, may the blessings of the moon shine down upon us. May the light of his scales and wings, may it light up our lives and banish the darkness from these lands. Argynvostholt." He seems to be repeating that over and over again. You can see the crystal pulsing with this light, faster and faster and faster, brighter and brighter and brighter. And with a sudden pulse, a sudden movement, the crystal and the lattice work that binds it rises into the air, and light burns from the crystal. The castle is illuminated. And as the silver light begins to shine down upon it, you watch as the shattered stonework slowly begins to shift and shudder and reform. The statues of the dragons tumbling over each other as they seal back in light, sealing the gaps as the light from the beacon begins to renew the tower. Down in the crypt, Styx. As you step forth towards the forge, your eye focused on your sword, you feel the pull growing stronger and stronger, like magnetism drawing you to your core, drawing your core to your sword. And as you step forward, you watch as the blacksmith turns those sightless eyes towards you. Yet
is time.
I am almost whole.
Styx is going to reach out towards it.
As you do, Styx, the pull becomes almost impossible to resist, and you feel yourself leaning over the edge of the forge, the flames dancing against your metal fingers as you feel yourself being pulled into the forge. If you resist this effect, let me know. Otherwise, you are pulled into the forge on top of your sword. As you feel yourself being pulled forwards onto the blade, Styx, you hear Killian call out behind you in alarm, and then the world fades away. Whiteness glows around you. A sword, shining with the light of the sun itself, hovers in place in front of you. And as you reach out to take it, you see your hands and arm for the first time. No longer clad in this skeletal mesh of metal and bone, but light, crisscrossing and dancing across your form. And as your hand grasps the blade, you watch as metal begins to coat your fingers, forming your hand, then your arm, moving across your body in these flowing, intricate lines, as your form is bound in a metal shell once again. And as you stare down at your hand, the glow from your purple eye illuminates the pommel, where the missing crystal still sits, gap where your sunstone should sit. Suddenly, the light around you begins to fade. You feel the warmth begin to grow hotter and hotter, and as you stride forth out of the furnace, the hot coals and clay that are around you begin to shatter and break off you, metal melting as the bones char and blister for a moment, and then light replaces them. And as you stand there holding the blade, you watch as Killian, wide-eyed, looks towards you. Styx, you remember how you died. And that is where we're going to leave things for tonight.
Wonderful, wonderful. You love to see it. You love to see it.
Oh, fuck yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us
Owen,
tonight. Yes.
I don't know if you realised, you actually just cut that off before you explained.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's all right. You can continue.
Yeah. Styx, as you remember the day you died. That is where we leave off there tonight. That's right. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We will be back again next Monday for more Curse of Strahd. Raph, if you wanted to use this opportunity to do any redesign of Styx's form, you and I are going to have a little bit of a chat about how some of the aspects of his armor and body will look a little bit different. You are now only missing the sun gem, the sunstone. Your sun sword is almost complete. We will talk about what that means for you and your sword in the future as well. But you and I will need to have a little bit of a chat if there's any changes you want to make to Styx's form as a result of this. I figured I'd give you the option before I make any decisions for you, which is why we just see Killian go as he gazes upon it. Yeah. Awesome.
It's hideous.
Oh.
To vampires, yay! So thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We will be back next Monday, hopefully with Josh joining us and with our special guest Raspip. We will be back on Wednesday for those of you who watch us live at 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or 7:30 p.m. Australian Daylight Savings Time for our Return of the Giants homebrew adventure, and on Thursday night for our Avatar Legends campaign, our special TTRPG set in the world of Avatar The Last Airbender. So if you have watched this live, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't go anywhere though. We've got to go and raid another lovely channel like we are wont to do on a Monday night. For those of you watching recorded or listening to the podcast, thank you so much. Make sure you leave a comment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, whatever the option is, because all of these platforms now start to have stuff. You can leave comments on Spotify now, apparently. The whole thing. So please do it. Help us out. It's a huge help and gets us
1 star.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Please 5. But yeah, it really does help us out. And we're looking forward to bringing you so much more cool content in the new year to come. I have so many ideas of really cool things that we can do. So there's going to be lots of really fun stuff to see.
Start at 5 stars and take 1 star off every time someone's not here.
Don't do that, because that's a quick way for us to lose stars. We will go and raid the Eldritch Scribe. We'll go and make sure we give them a bit of a raid. Looks like they're doing some Dungeons & Dragons. Their Realm Hunters session is currently on. So thank you so much, everybody. Stay safe and stay well, and we will see you all again very, very soon. But until then, farewell, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.